What's going on, champions? Welcome back to Sats and Success. Sats, S-A-T-S. It's the abbreviation for Satoshis and Success, where we dive into all things Bitcoin, crypto, and personal growth related. Before we get into today's video, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your bell notifications so you can be notified when we drop this new content. Also, don't forget to share this with your family and friends. We want to leave nobody behind. All right, so with that out of the way, let's dive in. In the last video, I left some meat on the bone. And one thing that I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna leave any stone unturned. I learned something from my late grandfather, God rest his soul. He taught me in my early teens. He says, if you're gonna do something, do it right. And we're gonna do it right on this channel. Okay, we are going to do it right on this channel because the goal of this channel is for you, me, we to be the best possible version of ourselves, period. Best possible version of ourselves, spiritually, physically, mentally, and financially. And so you're going to hear me talk about those 4 pillars of health, which was actually in the Motivational Monday video, so go check that video out. And actually, if you haven't checked out Bitcoin is the Detour video that dropped on yesterday, you need to pause and check that video out so that this video provides the full context of what we're talking about. Okay? Now, in that video, one of the things that I talked about was the old road that we were traveling down to get to success, to have success from our younger years into our retirement years. We talk about that blueprint that was put together that was successful for such a long period of time. And if you understand anything about life, things change, right? Some things change slowly. Some things change in the blink of an eye. And the blueprint that was written to get in that car and travel down that highway to get from point A to point B, it's old, it's antiquated. It worked back then. It doesn't work for today, and it's definitely not going to work in the future. And so this new highway has been built, and Bitcoin is the detour. And you have to understand that right now. This is time sensitive. It's time sensitive because things are taking place right now. Things are changing right now. Things have changed. That old blueprint is done. It's been outdated for quite some time. The monetary system is broken. The monetary system is broken. And I want to point out to you the cracks that have been there before it broke that you were totally oblivious to. Now, let me give you an analogy so you can actually understand this a lot better. Let's say you're in the market for a new automobile. Let's say we'll say a Ford F-150. I see a lot of trucks on the road. And you're in the market for a Ford F-150. And over the weekend, you were on the internet or on your phone and you were looking at different vehicles, looking at different specs, looking at different colors, different price points, yada, 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 right? Did that all weekend long. And Monday morning, when you start driving to work, you start noticing all these Ford F-150s. They're everywhere. You're like, man, that's funny. I was just shopping for a new car, and now all of a sudden, I see all these Ford F-150s everywhere. Well, guess what? Those Ford F-150s were always there, even before you started shopping for that new truck. All right? The Bible said, he that seeks shall find. So once you started seeking out a F-150, you started finding what was always there. It was always there. Okay? And the same thing has happened with our monetary system. It's been broken. And the cracks have always been there. You just haven't seen it because you haven't been seeking it. All right? But today, I'm going to show you the cracks that have always been there. They've always been there. You just haven't seen them yet. Okay? So, here's the first crack. When you go to Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, and there's other stores, but you often see like older individuals in these stores as greeters and doing different things. Some of these people that are working in these stores, some of our these older individuals that are working in these stores, they're working in the store because they're fine in retirement. They just want to have something to do, actually get away from their significant other because their significant other drives them crazy at home. So they're like, I gotta get out of the house, man, get away from he or she. I won't have that problem when I retire. I got a smoking hot wife. I mean, she is. Woo, I got a baddie. My mind drifted. Let me get back on track. But I got a smoking hot wife, and I enjoy every minute with her. I probably get on her nerves, but I don't know if I get on if she gets on mine. But at any rate, I digress. When you go into these stores and you see these people that's working, all right, yes, some are working to just get out of the house and have something to do, but a lot of these people are working in these stores because they have to work. They have to work. They've worked all their life, and they saved up this nest egg to be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And now, 5 years, 10 years into retirement, they realize, I'm going to run out of money. I have to go back to work. I have to go back to work. Why? Because they were on that old blueprint of how to get from your early years into your late years, and it's outdated. It's outdated because the inflation number that they were working off of has changed. The inflation number and our target inflation is 2%. It needs to go to 3% because there's no way on God's green earth that we'll ever get back to 2%. And don't ever let Jerome Powell, the federal chairman, get up on that podium and lie to you about the inflation number. All right? I don't care if he says, okay, we've reached our target rate of 2%. That's a bold-faced lie. That is a bold-faced lie. Whatever number they concocted to tell you in terms of inflation, it's not the real number. Inflation is not 2%. It's not 3%. I don't know what the last print. Well, heck, we have a CPI print today, but I don't know what the inflation number was the last time. But real inflation, the number they're never going to tell you, you need to add 2 to 3 points onto that. Maybe a fourth point. So if they're telling you that inflation is 3%, it's more like 6%. If they're telling you inflation's at 4%, okay, it's more like 7%. That's the real inflation number. And you guys are feeling it. But see, these people that have retired, assuming that their money would last them X amount of years, was based off of a false inflation number. And so when reality strikes and they realize that the money that they worked for and now are withdrawing from their whatever plan they put their money into, all right, is not stretching the way they thought it would, they got to go to Home Depot, they got to go to Lowe's, they got to go to Walmart, they got to go to Target, they got to go to Costco and find a job so that they can meet their everyday basic necessity needs. All right? So when you walk into these stores, you've been walking into these stores, you've been seeing these people. The cracks are there. They've been there. Okay? The second crack that is there and has always been there, you just have not been recognizing it. You ever seen a homeless person while you're getting off the highway with their sign asking for money? Many of you have blessed these people, helped these people. Right off the highway, as soon as you get off the highway, you have a homeless person standing posted there with their sign. You guys realize that homelessness hit an all-time high in 2024? Yeah, last year, homelessness hit an all-time high. People can't afford rent. People can't afford their mortgages, so they just walk away. And they choose to be homeless. Okay? Third crack that's been there. Third crack. Have you guys noticed the rise in the buy now, pay later sites? Affirm, Klarna, PayPal, Afterpay, and there's many others. Have you noticed the rise in those sites? I was just in the barbershop with my brother. He was cutting my hair, and I'm looking on his app, and he's always had, different payment methods, and that app is powered by not by him, but a company. But just as we were talking about it, looking on the app, and there's a payment option to pay with Affirm. I'm gonna buy my haircut now, and I'm gonna break up these payments into 4 payments. Pay you later. That is a huge, huge red flag. If you have to pay for a haircut with the firm, you got a problem. You got a problem. If you can't take and pay 40, 50 bucks to get your haircut, and you can pay and you can't pay that with cash, or if you got to put it on your credit card, and you actually have to hit the Affirm option and break up your payments in 4, you got a huge problem. Okay? And this is rampant because we have a lot of people out here that are actually paying for everyday necessities with these buy now, pay later options. And then you have people, don't get me started on the people that are buying things that have no business buying, okay? But they buy it because they can. They made it much easier for you to get yourself in debt with these buy now, pay later options. You got people buying stuff for $75, $100, breaking up the payments in 4 payments. Oh, I can afford that because I have this option. Okay? And so these are the cracks. These are the cracks that have been there. You haven't seen them. The monetary system has been broken, and these are some of the cracks, and there's actually others. These are the cracks that exposed the brokenness of the system. Okay? Now that we've discussed this, you'll see these cracks. But I don't just want you to see them. Seeing is one thing. Doing something about it is another. And champions, we have to do something about this situation before we get swallowed up in these cracks. We have to take time to make sure that we understand about this thing called Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was made for people like you and me. You got the big boys. They are buying this stuff up. They are backing the truck up, and they are scooping up all the Bitcoin that they possibly can. All the Ethereum. I just seen a post that I think Ethereum just hit a 90-day high while I was filming this session. They are buying all of these digital assets as possible, as fast as possible. They don't want you to own any of this. They don't. They don't. So you have to, like yesterday, take some time, do your homework, watch videos like this. There's other amazing content creators that can teach you and help you learn about Bitcoin and crypto. And you have to understand that the future is today. The future is not tomorrow. All right. The people got into the starting blocks, the guns sounded, and the participants have been running around the track, lapping some of you. We got to get caught up. Champions, we got to get caught up. We got to understand what this thing called Bitcoin is. And we have to make sure that you get off of zero. Do you realize that you can actually buy some Satoshis for $1? If you have Cash App, if you have downloaded the Robinhood app, you can actually go right now and buy some Satoshis for $1. $1. $1 will get you off zero. So the first thing that you need to do once you are done watching this video, all right, is go back and check out the other videos. But the other thing that I would implore you to do, is to get off of zero. If you have no Satoshis, no Bitcoin in your coffers, you need to get off of zero. Everybody needs to get off of zero. So do that, and make sure that today you do something to work on the 4 pillars of your health. Do something today that's going to improve your spiritual health. Do something today that's going to improve your physical health. Do something today that's going to improve your mental health. And do something today that's going to improve your financial health. Make sure that you understand that the detour to a prosperous life is Bitcoin. That old way that we've been sold, the old way that we've been told, doesn't work anymore. Bitcoin is the detour. And make sure that you take the time to learn about it, teach your family about it. And if you got questions, drop some comments, drop some questions in the comments. Right now, our community is small, but it's going to grow to a point where I'm not going to be able to answer a lot of questions or all the questions that are dropped in the comments. So if you have questions, please drop them in the comments, and I promise you I'll get to each and every one of them right now because I have the time to. We have a smaller community right now. But again, my goal is to make sure that you, me, we become the best possible version of yourselves, of ourselves, that we can possibly be. So champions, have a great day. Take this content, do something about it, share it with somebody. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.